Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Bremont. Today, I'll be your guide to the Bremont Jaguar MKII Chronograph, its usage, its care, and its maintenance. The best way to approach any watch is with winding, though this is an automatic winding timepiece, and you can see the winding rotor in classic drilled steering wheel E-type style. We'll wind the watch up to its maximum rated power reserve of 42 hours. Nevertheless, sometimes a watch will run down, or you'll wish to wind a watch before putting it back in the watch box. To do so, simply take the crown in the first position flush to the case, and turn it 20 to 30 turns in the clockwise direction. This will be sufficient to begin the beating of the watch, and you'll know that the watch is running because the constant seconds dial at 9 o'clock will begin to advance, and you'll see the beating of the chronometer style balance on the case back. But again, if you wish to wind the watch to maximum rated capacity, simply continue turning. There is no hazard to the watch. You cannot overwind it due to the bridle style mainspring, which slips to relieve excess tension. You cannot overwind this watch, so simply continue turning until you hear a subtle click. That's the bridle slipping, your signature that the watch is now fully wound. And fully wound, the watch can be set using two features designed to aid setting precision. The first is stop seconds. In the outermost position, 2 detents out from flush to the case, you'll feel the detents as you pull the crown. You stop the seconds or hack the balance. Now you'll know that it's hacked because constant seconds will stop, and on the case back you'll note that the balance is halted. At this point, you can set the watch against a known accurate reference time, such as an online atomic clock. The best way to do this is to wait for the seconds hand to reach the index at 60, and then set the watch to the next nearest minute against the reference. When the reference timer's seconds hand and minutes are coincident, that is, it catches up to the time you set, push the crown back in, the balance continues to beat, and now you've synchronized to a reference time. Now there is an intermediate position, 1 detent out from flush to the case, where you activate the quick set for the date. Should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month, you may wish to quickly set the date. You can do this by pulling the crown out to its first detent and then turning it in a clockwise direction. You'll note that the date window changes 1/4 turn, 1 day. Now, it's important to note that this quick set feature should never be used between the hours of 8 p.m. and 3 a.m., as this is the time frame in which the watch's automatic date jumper is engaged in the turnover. Attempting to use quick set while the watch is changing its own date can damage the movement, so always be cognizant of the time before using the quick set. Now, this timepiece is a chronograph, which means it can time short intervals up to 30 minutes, with a resolution down to 1/8 of a second. To use the chronograph, with the watch wound and running, press the chronograph trigger at 2 o'clock. You'll note that the chronograph seconds hand, located at center, begins beating, and for every circuit of the chronograph seconds hand, the minute indicator will jump 1 minute. Now, it's important to note that the chronograph should not be run indefinitely, as continuous use of the chronograph for hours or days can cause additional wear and tear to the movement. The rule of thumb is use the chronograph for as long as its largest register. Its largest register in this case is 30 minutes, so that would be the optimal time to leave the chronograph running. Now, it's also important to note that once the chronograph is running, always stop it. So start and stop using the trigger at 2 o'clock, and then reset using the trigger at 4 o'clock. Never start and then attempt to reset without first stopping the chronograph, as this can crash the mechanism and damage the watch. Now, it's important to note that there are 3 primary hazards to your timepiece: water, magnetism, and shock. Water is by far the greatest threat facing a premium timepiece. If it gets inside the case, it can cause immense cosmetic and mechanical damage to these delicate components. This Bremont timepiece is water resistant to 100 meters or 10 ATM, but you can help it avoid accidental drownings. First, remember that leather is a natural, porous material and is never water resistant. Swap the watch out to a textile or rubber strap before taking it swimming. Furthermore, it's important to remember to keep all functions disused, chronograph and crown, when the watch is submerged or even when there's water on the case, as attempting to wind, set, or operate the chronograph can introduce water to the interior of the timepiece to disastrous effects. Moreover, water resistance unlike mechanical specifications, is not a permanent feature of the watch. In time, as seals age and lubricants dry up, a watch will have less water resistance than when it last left the factory or a service center. Therefore, Bremont advises having the watch water tested at a Bremont authorized service center once every 24 months minimally to ensure that factory-rated hermeticity remains intact. Now, magnetism is ubiquitous in modern life. It's in speakers, subwoofers, MRI equipment, the closures of purses and wallets and refrigerators. Magnetic fields can change the timing stability of the watch by affecting the ferrous hairspring at the center of the balance. If you suspect due to erratic timing that your watch may have become magnetized, take it to an authorized Bremont service center where specialized equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize your hairspring and restore the performance of your watch. While magnetism effects can be abated relatively quickly, shock can leave more permanent scars on your watch. Because every fine mechanical timepiece contains delicate wheels, pinions, and pivots, it's best to disuse the watch during concussive activities such as ATV or mountain bike riding, firearms marksmanship, tennis, golf, or batting, as all of these activities create immense shock and g-forces that can damage the movement. Finally, with respect to service, Bremont recommends every 5 to 7 years a comprehensive overhaul of the watch. This includes not just cleaning, oiling, and adjustment of the movement to restore its chronometer-grade performance, but also cosmetic restoration of the case components, possible strap replacement if necessary, and of course restoration of factory-rated water resistance. It's also important to have this work done only at Bremont authorized service centers, as these agencies exclusively have the trained personnel, specialized equipment and tools, and original factory replacement parts to preserve the value of your watch both as an investment and as an instrument. Moreover, only these agencies can back work and parts invested with an original factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at govbergwatches.com and text, call, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership, the usage, the care, and the maintenance of this or any Bremont premium timepiece.